Hey, there we go. Welcome back. My name is Jeff Fritz. Today is, what day is today? Today is, I don't even know what day today is. Today is May 30th, 2019, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. We're going to write a little code with Blazor today. How's it going there? That is one poppin' jacket. Yes, it is. You know what? I didn't even turn on. That's better. Now you can really see. Things are lit up. I've got my Blazor hat on with the Blazor logo. I've got my fantastic jacket. Oh my, yes indeed, McNerdius. Oh yes indeed.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's a fine, fine jacket. So good to see everybody. Let's say hello to folks in the chat room. I see Rambling Geek is here. McNerdius, of course. I am not myself. Yeah, the music was a little jumpy. I was trying some sound filters on my mixer there, and it didn't quite land right. So we turned them off. Brave Cobra, hello. And Stelzy, good to see you. Desert Griffin, long time no see. Great to see you there. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. And it's May. It's May is for Macs. We're winding down. We were looking at having folks from the Visual Studio for Mac team on today. We ran into a little bit of a scheduling conflict there. I had something I had to get done, and we weren't going to be able to fully deliver the high quality stream that you expect here. So we're going to have them on next week. How's it going there, C17? Greetings. So we'll have them on next week. We'll have one more show with the Mac then next week. Tomorrow will be our last show for May is for Macs. And then we'll go back to Windows over the weekend. And throughout June, we'll be doing some really fun stuff.
Brave Cobra 2 just resubscribed for 7 months, since sharing is caring.
Thanks so much, Brave Cobra. I really appreciate that. And we'll make a donation to Veterans Who Code. Thanks so much for that. Yeah, the @ there, that's the Blazor logo for the Blazor C# framework, web development framework. Really great stuff. We're going to have some fun with that today. Let's see. So we're going to do some more fun stuff with this project that we've been working on, doing schedule management, something that isn't quite so stream oriented. We'll be working on that in June. And July we're going to do a lot of artificial intelligence work. We're going to call it AI July. And we're going to get into some machine learning and artificial intelligence things throughout the month of July. Hopefully, if everything lands right, I want to do another ASP.NET Core workshop in July. I've got a lot of folks interested in helping out with that. We just crossed 50,000 views on last year's ASP.NET Core workshop that's available out there on the YouTube channel. So I want to make sure that we revisit that, we update it with all the stuff for ASP.NET Core 2.2, and we'll revisit that again probably in the fall for the ASP.NET Core 3.1 update that'll be released in about November. I don't have a G Fuel command. I so need that G Fuel command, Gary. Don't have that yet. Sorry about that. Today's G Fuel is brought to you by, they can't call it pineapple for some reason, so instead they called it Battle Juice. I don't get that. But here you go, Battle Juice. Look at that. All right, whatever. It tastes mighty fine. Am I feeling any better? I'm all right there, Surly Dev. Thanks for asking. I've stretched myself a little bit thin here, but always when I share code with you folks, when we're writing code together, it makes me feel better, makes me happier when we can be productive together and talk about things and have a good time together, and even when I'm wearing a snappy jacket. Let's head over to this view. We have a goal for 8,000 followers before TwitchCon. If we can get there before September 15th.
Parathon just resubscribed for 14 months. Who can feel bad with that jacket?
I know, right? Thank you, Parathon, and we'll make another donation to Vets Who Code. If we can get to 8,000 followers before September 15th, I will dye the beard rainbow. It'll be rainbow for both .NET Conf and TwitchCon because they're the same week. It'll be amazing. So, Blazor 8, no. You like the grape? I don't have any more grape with me. Alternative Corn, hello everyone. Good to see you. Is he okay? Who? Vector? No. Thank you, Nile Crack. I'm glad you like the jacket. So we're rambling towards that goal. We're gonna hit 6,500 followers tonight if we get it. 3 more followers. Tell your friends, tell your families if they want to see some great development streams, some development content here. Make sure they sign up for Twitch. Click that follow button right up at the top of the screen. It's free to follow. You get notified when we go live, and join us. We talk about more than just code here on the channel, and I like to think we have a good time. I'm really just joining this channel now. What are we exactly up to? We're gonna talk about fashion today, Alternative Corn. What do you think? No, we're not gonna do that. Let me get some music playing here in the background. We'll talk about the project, and we'll resume and get back into it. We're going to be working with the Blazor framework today. Oh my gosh!
Piet just gifted 5 subs.
Holy crow! Congratulations to, is that Case Furs, Murky God Tier, Beck Bristow, and Dan114. Where's the 5th one? I don't see it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the 5th one? Thank you so much, Carrie. That is amazing. Congratulations to all the folks that just subscribed. CK8T, it looks like, is the last one. Thank you very much for that. And we'll make some donations to Veterans Who Code as well. Does it count if you sign up for an account for your cat? She sits in the chair behind me in the home office. I can't encourage you to make up accounts for folks that aren't real people. But I do have accounts for my bot, for several other things that are here on Twitch. Thank you so much for that, for those subs, Carrie. That is really generous of you. And of course, as we do with all of our subs, we're going to make donations to organizations that help support other folks learn how to develop. I'm going to play Purple today in honor of our jacket. This one starts a little bit slow, and the Blazor colors. Here it comes. This is music to code by from our friend Mr. Carl Franklin. It's scientifically engineered. It's designed to get you in the flow, get you in the groove, get you focused on whatever task it might be that you're working on. Check it out, mtcb.pwop.com. Or you can download the app at musictoflowby.com. Let's see what's going on here. The cat is watching, so technically, well, yeah, I guess so. Good fashion tips from an obvious pro. Thank you. Thank you very much. You have no idea. You talk to my wife and she'll tell you I am a mess when it comes to fashion. All right, so there were some other questions. What is G Fuel? G Fuel is an energy drink. A lot of the gamers here on Twitch drink it. It's fruit flavored. It's got about the same amount of caffeine in one serving as one serving of coffee. No sugar, only 25 calories. Do I have that right? So, pretty good and keeps me going, right? We're really up for Blazor tonight. Yes, we are, Michael Jolly. Yes, we are. Tuesday next week, we're going to have I Am Not Myself. That sounds weird. But we'll have I Am Not Myself join us. We're going to do a pair programming stream. He was the leading cheerer in February. And we're going to get him on. We're going to talk about doing some authentication together using Auth0. We still have to schedule Michael Jolly and Robert Tables for a pair programming stream coming up. Now that my schedule is clearing up a bit, it should be a little bit easier to do here in June. All right. Let's see. I try to learn programming, but I'm having a hard time to keep yourself motivated. Do you have any tips? Asks Pluto Nan. Pluto, find a project. Find something that interests you. Okay? Look for a simple task. Something that's interests you, something that'll be fun. Don't try and bite off more than you can chew. Don't try and build the next Fortnite. That's going to take a really long time and a lot of effort to build. But look for something simple. Maybe some of the apps that I build on a regular basis just to get me interested, thinking about the next technology that I want to learn. For a long time, I used to build fantasy football management applications. I was really into fantasy football in high school and college, so for me to build a little application, it was something that I understood, and it was fun because I would end up using it to manage teams and try to win my league, because I built all kinds of statistical analysis into it because I wanted to learn statistical analysis, so I built all kinds of things into it to try and forecast and help me win. I won it a couple times. Anyways, but look into doing something like that is around something that you find interesting, and it might help you get there. Let's see here. Did I see? Okay. Please follow. Yes, thank you for the shout out, Carrie, for I Am Not Myself, and a shout out for Michael Jolly. Absolutely. And of course, Robert Tables. Wow. Those three are all live coders. They're on the Live Coders team. You can learn more about the Live Coders, including Carrie. If you click the link, it's right about here, just below the stream, and you'll learn all kinds of stuff about those folks and all the other folks that are doing an educational and outward bit of coding here on Twitch. Let me see here. Dangerous grammar mistakes. Oh, that'd be bad. Small goals to reach when you're starting out. Yes. Yes. Hello there, Cotter. Good to see you. Make sure you choose something you already know the domain logic of. Yes. Good point, Brave Cobra. Don't try and figure out something new when you're just learning. Work on something that you understand completely and kind of build towards it. You'll get somewhere quick, and I think you'll be pretty happy with it. Early projects were a calculator. Yeah, simple things just to get you past that initial bit of magic. I wrote this. Look, it works. That's really cool. That type of thing. New logic analyzer to use on stream. Ooh, neat.
Chris Jones just resubscribed for 10 months.
Thanks so much, Chris. I appreciate that resub. 10 months. Woo. Oh my gosh, and here's James Montemagno. Hey, James.
Montemagno just resubscribed for 8 months. Hugs.
Thanks so much for that. And we'll make donations to Veterans Who Code. Very cool. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate those. Yeah, check out the Blazor.
Electric Havoc just resubscribed for 3 months. High voltage sign. Alert train. High voltage sign.
The subtrain is strong today. Love it. Thank you so much. And we'll make donations to Veterans Who Code for those. All right. The first application was a map generator for your favorite game at the time. That's pretty cool. All right. So we're going to talk about building .NET applications on the Mac. We're going to be using Visual Studio Code, and we're going to back up a little bit and talk about the Blazor framework and ASP.NET Core authentication, which is a little bit trickier to do than it sounds, and we stumbled through this last time, and we found some of the edges to this, and I think we have a good solution going forward based on some of the documentation that's out there. Let's head over to the Mac and take a look there. There's the Mac. See, that's my Macintosh above us right there. Let's see. Generate a pie chart for values you typed in. Sure, that'd be pretty cool. You don't like how it narrates the emotes. It makes you uncomfortable. Sorry, Alternative Corn. Yeah, it's reading all the things. So we were working in a separate branch in Git, right? Git is our source control that we use to make sure that we don't trip over ourselves. We don't break things. Typically, you have a master branch, and that's where production is, right? The stuff that's done. I have a dev branch. That's where I'm typically working. That's where I'm doing my development, or I'm integrating the various pieces of development. And then I'll experiment. I said it. I'll experiment. I'll build individual features on feature branches. Or if I have a bug that I need to fix, I'll create a separate branch called bug_something. So we started experimenting and building authentication in this feature branch called feature branch. Easy for me to say. Called feature authentication. And we started going down a path that was recommended with a very early preview version of Blazor that was recommended by Michael Washington in one of his blog posts. And it was also very much focused on client-side Blazor. Client-side Blazor is a C# framework that works with the Razor formatting language, templating language, to give you WebAssembly code that'll execute in the browser. .NET code that executes in the browser. Get back to me. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
It is. Thank you, Owen Wilson. Anyways, so that's not what I want to do here. I want to execute my code on the server with server-side Blazor using the same type of component structure. And we'll see how those components work together. However, when you're working with those components, you don't have access to HTTP context. And they have a different life cycle compared to standard interactions with the server. So there's a couple different ways that you could manage that. The way that's recommended when you look at the documentation. Hey, look, documentation. Who'd have thunk it? Jeff reads documentation. What the hell's going on here? Yeah, I know. Reading documentation. I don't use Git flow directly, but I use the processes that it preaches, that it encourages. I'm going to, since I don't have that yellow hat on today, let me just tune that chroma key briefly because it's annoying the heck out of me. You know what I mean? Goodbye. Is that a little bit better? I think that's a little bit better. There we go. Doesn't help any that I've got glass reflecting behind me. Okay. Docs the rocks. Yes. Oh, look at Carrie pushing the darn Skippy emotes. Yes. Oh, yes. Am I the right...
It can be done exactly how
yes,
I
authentication can be done how I want it.
The only question is, are you the man to do it?
Darn Skippy I am, and we're going to get it done right here this afternoon, this evening. So when you're working on the server side, you're building and managing Razor components. There's a indicator here you put into your project file that says, where are the Razor components that you're including? I think we need to go after this approach, where we're going to build, and we haven't done anything really with our web project yet. So let's nuke the web project. Let's start over. Configure it with everything that we need for ASP.NET Core Identity. Identity is the library, is the tools that come with ASP.NET Core to allow you to have folks to log in and interact with your web application. Once we have that template application constructed, then let's add the component classes and integrate components into Razor pages at this point. And I think that'll get us a little bit further, faster. Creating software is not assembling IKEA furniture, so we need docs. Yeah, but if we're assembling IKEA furniture, we at least get that funny outline guy that looks like he's had one too many drinks. He's kind of funny looking, right? You know what I'm talking about. The IKEA manual guy. IKEA manual. Right, the IKEA manual character. You know what I'm talking about. And there's got to be an image of him here. You've seen this guy. Him! Right? He's had a few. I mean, look at that belly. Where'd his hands go? And when he talks, he sounds like this. Anyways, IKEA manual guy, right? Let's see. Always read the docs even if you don't follow them. What is going to be the authentication endpoint? So we'll start off with just the standard authentication endpoints that come with ASP.NET Core. Just to get a minimum viable product, we'll enhance and do some other more interesting things later. He talks in icons. He is holding docs. See that? Let him hold the docs, not me. I don't care. Think of it more like a spa. Yes, that's exactly what it's going to end up being like. Spa-ish. He's holding he's wearing a hoodie with a uni pocket in the front. Okay, I can buy that, Cotter. I can buy that. All right, I see what you got there. That's not bad. So, yeah, let's go over here. All right. With each release, Windows 10 gets nicer and nicer.
Squirrel.
Thanks, Rambling Geek. All right, moving on. So let's go back over here to my terminal. So I checked out, so I went back to the dev branch. When I take a look here, I'm going to go down into my source folder, and you see I have this Fritz Resource Management Web. And that project, that folder, is right here. All that it has in it at this point is this MyDB context with information about how to construct and how to manage the different objects in my database. I've also got the migrations laid out here as well. This is where I want... These things I want to keep. I'm okay with these. But I want to put together... I want to rerun the template generator and still maintain these. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to break things. That's what I'm going to do. Let's do a Git Checkout, and we'll create a new branch, and we'll call this feature auth 2. Not auth 0, auth 2. See what I did there? See, it's
put the candle back.
I did, and I'm creating a new version of this, okay? All right. I think this will work. I think it'll work well.
You have to ask me nicely.
I did ask nicely. I checked out, and there's the name of my new branch right there. You're still fuzzy on the person type. It's a middle table that I don't expect people to use. I want to actually make that I would love to be able to make that an internal thing. The nice thing about Blazor is that it is standards-based, built on top of WASM. WASM, that I am not myself is referring to there. That, of course, is the web assembly. Unlike Silverlight, that required a plug-in, yep, and like Flash, right. Unfortunately, everybody got Spectre and Meltdown bugs last summer. That's nice. And you've now had to upgrade all of your browsers, all of your operating systems. So fortunately, everybody has it now. You've gone so fast if you haven't been upgrading. Now you're all upgraded. Well,
They've gone to plaid.
not that fast, but they've gone pretty fast. All right. So moving on. All right, I've got my new branch here. I'm going to take that resource management web and I'm going to rename it. I'm going to rename it to web old. No. I need to give it the name of what I'm moving. Web. And I'm going to move it to web old. Right? Boom. There it is. I'm going to create a new project because that's what I do here. .NET. .NET new. Let's see what our .NET new has for us. I'm going to say a .NET new. I want an ASP.NET Core. Do I do MVC or do I do web app with Razor Pages? Let's do the web app with Razor Pages. So I'm going to do .NET new web app. And I can even pass a help into that, and it'll tell me what the various arguments are that I can pass in to create this. And look at them all! I'm going to pass in -au. I want to force it to create some authentication, and I want individual. Nope, don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need client ID, don't need domain, don't need all those things. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. All right. -au individual. Right? I need to give it a name, and I'll give it the same name that I used to have. Resource Management Web. I shouldn't have OI. It's not OI. -o for the output folder that we're going to target. Looks good. Make it happen.
Make it so.
Create it already. Let's go. I want to see the log. Show me the log. Where's the log? Where's the log? There it is. Thank you. I did the thing. IKEA furniture guy have workers' pants like farmers have. Oh, okay. So it's efficient to work in and has the performance benefits of West. Yes, alternative corn. Yes. Funny like that, isn't it? It is very bleeding edge. You will cut yourself. It's not fully supported yet, but it will be. It's an amazing server-side story. That's what we're going to be working with today. So let me go back over to Visual Studio Code. Yes, I know. Unresolved dependencies. You're going to restore them, and you're still going to complain that it has unresolved dependencies because that's what you do. Visual Studio Code. And you make me sad. Very sad. Here it comes. Come on! Look, it's restoring the logging. Yeah. Look, come on, Visual Studio Code, restore, because
60% of the time, it works every time.
Yeah, every time. I guess it did something. I don't know. It looks like it. So here's where Resource Management Web is, and it's telling me, oh, these things are missing. Fine. Even the name is naming truly well done of Blazor. What? I don't understand. So now it's Visual Studio Code is showing me that these things are different from what they were before. In WebOld? Sure. Not pages. Under models, we had my DB context. We didn't even have application DB context. So it's already telling me this is different. And it hasn't restored everything here, so I'm getting all kinds of great fun with the red squiggles. Hello? I want to reload window. Do it. WebOld, the days of CGI, Marquee, and Blink. Oh man, Carrie, you aren't kidding. You aren't kidding. Those were the days. All right. So I still have my DB context over here. I'd like to copy and just keep this thing going because we're going to have it up here in this one. So we'll just paste it in there. There it is, my DB context. Now my DB context has references to all these domain objects, there it goes, thank you. No, I don't want to generate. No. I need to add a reference, and it's not going to let me add a reference easily right here. So I'm going to go into Fritz Resource Management Web, .NET add reference, and it's going to be up one. Right, it was fritz.resource domain, and it should add that reference. Bazinga. Feeling good about that. DB context in real world would be in a net standard project. Maybe. Depends on how much you want to separate things, manage things in separate projects. I can't debate that. It's not a bad thing. There we go. So it looks like we found all our things, all those red lines. Really? You're going to tell me you're going to restore again? Come on. Yeah, see, look at that. Done. 0. No.
What's that?
Yeah, see? Still unresolved dependencies. Restore.
What's that?
It's going to try again. Did it succeed? It's looking better. I think it's done. I can't tell because it said done 0 5 times. All right, moving on. I bet somebody wrote a simple JavaScript script that re-implements the marquee tag. Yes, they did, and that's what you see up at the top. You watch only for the marquee at the top. See that? See? It's a thing. So we have some migrations we need to bring over as well. I'm going to grab those. Migrations. Copy. and we'll bring those in. Paste. All right, now I've got those as well. I'm feeling good. Michael Jolly permits the marquee tag in his chat message overlay. Yeah, that's a little weird. You have one rule for creating new projects. Are you going to share the library with another project? If not, you're just adding build time. Agreed. Yes, there are folks that have hundreds of projects in their solution, and each project has like one class. Why? Do you really, really need that? Makes me sad. All right, moving on. So I've got my migrations copied over, so my data folder looks pretty good. I have an area up here for identity, and this now knows how to log in. So I'm feeling pretty good about that part. You know what I didn't check? Chat room. I didn't check that we're on the 3.0 version of things here. Right, if I look at the startup here, that's in Webold. Webold? Yeah, Webold. Sure, that's a thing. This startup. Oh, that does look right. That looks proper. If I look at the CS_proj file, this is okay. So Netcore App 3. That's I zoomed in too far. My apologies. That's saying we're going to use ASP Netcore 3. Right, we're using a preview version here, and I always try and use preview versions here on stream because I want to break things. I want to get in, I want to find out what's working, what isn't working, and have a good time exploring, learning about the latest and greatest stuff. Not everybody knows everything. Some people claim they know everything, but when you talk to them, it turns out they don't know as much as they think they know. So let's learn something. I don't have a shame command. Who are we shaming? Oh yes, he does have a little bit of a shame tag. Today's Visual Studio stream was great. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That was our friend Kendra Havens talking about all the cool new features coming to Visual Studio. But that's another story. Let me take a look here. We're going to modify app settings. So app settings has a default connection, data source app DB. No. We declared previously on Fritz and Friends. We're going to connect to Postgres because we like Postgres. Postgres makes me feel like I'm using a real database with relations, a database that makes things happen. So we'll paste that back in there. We're also going to need to get our reference to Postgres. So I'm going to jump back down here into the old one of these, and I'm going to grab the Postgres bridge here for Entity Framework Core. Entity Framework Core, of course, is our object relational mapper. It's going to make it real easy for us to connect back and forth between a SQL database, a relational database, and our object-oriented C# code. And it's going to restore again there. What do we got over here? What did I miss? All right. Kaja says, I'm starting an unpaid internship, but I don't know stuff since my college is bad. Do I have any tips how I can get more into it and build my knowledge? I have a good foundation, though. An unpaid internship in what? In software development? Give me a little bit more detail there, Kaja. Software engineering. So use that internship as much as you can. Ask questions of the senior engineers. Look for the folks that have a little gray around the beard, a little gray in their hair in the back. They've been around for a while. They know what's going on. They've got the experience. Don't be afraid to ask them questions. As you're learning about the project that you're working on, as you're working with and learning the product that you're participating in, spend some time with those folks. And don't be afraid to ask them questions. But if you do ask them questions, make sure you have a notepad some way to record their answers, because they're going to get annoyed quick if you keep asking the same questions. Know what I mean? But don't be afraid to learn from your colleagues. It's okay that you didn't learn a lot about a particular software language or framework. Use that internship. Learn as much as you can about the frameworks, the languages that you've been assigned to work with. Spend time with it, and don't be afraid of talking to your colleagues. I can't stress that enough. But those folks who have been around for a while, that's a pretty big thing. Yeah, the live coders. Check out the live coders. There's a link right here below me to the live coders team. There's 50 members of the live coders team now. We added a couple of new members over the past few days. Check them out. All kinds of great folks that are happy to answer your questions and show you cool things that they're working on their streams. If it's as an unpaid internship, that's pretty rough. Your payment is your knowledge, so learn as much as you can. All right. I'm going to get rid of this AppDB. I don't want this in my project. I don't want a SQLite database floating around here, so I'm going to get rid of this so that we're not using that. I'm also going to jump down here into Startup CS. Startup CS is where... Really? You're going to do this to me again? Really, Visual Studio Code? No. No. I don't want that. Go away. Inside here, it has there it is, configuration, get connection string, and telling it to use SQLite. I don't want it to use SQLite. I want to use Postgres. So I'm going to change this to use NPG SQL. There it goes. And it's the exact same format. And instead of default connection, we just called it DB. But that's for the application DB context, which is where all the information about our user lives. It's very legal and common here. If you'd mind me asking, Kadya, what region are you in? In my country, unpaid internships are illegal, very strictly regulated. Not here in the States. There's a lot of unpaid internships. Which is better for C# Workspace, VS Code, or Visual Studio 2019, asks IH Developer. I'm a big fan of Visual Studio 2019. Visual Studio for Mac has some really great new features. Next week, they're releasing on their preview channel the latest update to their code editor, which reuses some of the technologies from Visual Studio 2019. So you're going to get a lot of really robust, great features in the code editor in Visual Studio for Mac. I'm a big fan of Visual Studio 2019. A lot of folks like Visual Studio Code. For JavaScript, for Python, it's a heck of a big step up. For .NET, it feels like a step down because you're so used to working in Visual Studio 2019. Kind of terrible country. Going to dip out as soon as I can. Sorry to hear that. Serbia. Okay. All right. I get it. There's folks in Bulgaria that have been very successful with software development, and that's close to that part of the world. Bright Jacket says, Shuchi, you like it? You like it? Huh? You like Visual Studio Code for Java? Yeah. IT can live there. Very good. Cool. I always cringe when I hear unpaid internship. Yes. Yeah. Interns definitely have value. Visual Studio 2019 does most of the stuff that are a little bit hard and takes time, but Visual Studio Code doesn't do that much. Agreed. There's a lot of automation in setting up and prep of your environment that Visual Studio 2019 does that you have to do by hand in Visual Studio Code. It's all a question of preference. I prefer Visual Studio 2019. All right, I'm going to move back into this. I'm going to jump right back in here inside my startup. There we go, add DB context for my DB context. This is the context that I was creating for my objects that we're going to be saving for scheduling purposes. And we'll get into what that looks like, what that feels like. I need to allocate that here. And I don't have to do it like that. I can actually spell out if I can spell out, configuration. Thank you. All right. So now I have my, let's put a carriage return there. There we go. Now you can see it. Use NPG SQL. So NPG SQL, that's the Postgres library that we're going to be using. So now I'm connected for both my application DB context where all my security stuff is and my DB context where the stuff that I'm going to be saving for scheduling. I'll have them both in the same database, but I'll have the option to move them to separate locations later with a little bit of refactoring. Not something that I need to get too into. All right. So I think with those changes right now, my application should still build. So let's try it. Let's .NET build. Make sure that this compiles. I'm running this at the command line. As you know, with .NET Core, everything runs command line first. You're not required to be in Visual Studio 2019. So we can run everything here at the command line, and especially on a Mac, right? That's pretty cool that we can do that. You've been using Visual Studio Code exclusively for about 2 years for both .NET Core and Node apps, and you love it. More power to you. That's fantastic. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Visual Studio 2019. I can execute .NET Run here from the command line. It'll compile up and start the web server for my application. There we go. It's listening on localhost 5001, so I should be able to open that page. Localhost 5001, and
then
it'll load.
and then
I should see the page.
and then
It didn't. Why not?
shame, shame, shame.
Seriously, why am I like what happened here? What's it say here? Da, 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 da. Application aborted the connection. Why? I've got an error up here. Let's see here. Wow, that's a big error. Method populate debug info in blah 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 does not have an implementation. Okay. Thanks. Probably because the Postgres database isn't running. Probably. That would make sense. I'm going to start another window so I can have that database running. Let's come here. Come here. I want to shrink you. I can't just snap like I can in Windows. Know what I mean? All right, so let's go dev Fritz dot, and I know this is really small because I don't care about it. I thought. Nope, don't have it here. We're gonna do a Docker run. We want it to run in the background. We're gonna remap port 5432 so that we can access it. 5432. I'm gonna give this a name. I'll call it PG. I'm going to force it to the background, doing that. And it's just Postgres. Oh, I gotta give it a password. Postgres password equals password. I don't care, it's development mode. And this is the Postgres version. It's already running. No, it's not. It's not running. It is running. Well, why won't it connect to it? You know what I mean? Why won't you connect to it? Are you aware of a .NET CLI global tool that will create types for me properly namespaced? I don't know. Visual Studio does that, of course. You hated the Visual Studio when it was taking memory and a long time to start up, moved to Visual Studio Code, but after the Visual Studio 2019, you checked the memory, it was too low, and I was surprised. Yeah, Visual Studio 2019 was definitely focused on performance during their development cycles. It was a real big effort by the team to make sure that they landed that well. Kadya, thank you for the follow. You are follower 6498 when that number ticks over. Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're just opening a file, it doesn't feel right that it takes that long to open all of Visual Studio. But trust me, It's much better now. Why am I not getting... Right, if I .NET restore, I should have gotten the thing here, right? Yeah. That's not how you spell that. .NET run. Excited for 19. Oh yeah, you gotta check it out. Gonna go sleep. Take care. I appreciate you joining us. All right, so it looks like it started. And Postgres is doing its thing over here. Let's go back over. Kaboom. Yeah. All right, hang on. Method populate debug info in blah, 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 blah. For assembly, does not have an implementation. That feels ugly. Unhandled exception was thrown. Populate debug info. So something isn't running properly. Take care, Alternative Corn. Nice to meet you. I believe you can create your own template for it if it doesn't exist. Yes, that's right, you can. All right, so let's cancel this. Let's see if we say .NET EF database update. See if that's not how you spell that. It's gonna do it. Do it. Come on, let's go. And if this doesn't work, I might just a little bit. Yeah, I can call you Corn or Mia. All right. Now that's interesting because we had this working last time. So now this is telling me that this isn't my problem. My code is good, but something isn't adding up right. You need to add something extra to your startup? Maybe. Let's take a look-see back over here. So I added DB context. Use NPG SQL. And it's building that properly. Configuration get connection string. Let's go back over and make sure. Connection strings, DB. That looks right. Let's go back down here. Right, connection strings, DB. Yeah. Okay. So I'm feeling proper about that. It's not letting me do anything with Entity Framework yet. I'm gonna just for right now, I'm gonna comment that out. Let's see if we can get this. See if we can get this to work with what we have right now. I have a feeling that our application DB context and our migrations back and forth are what's giving us a problem here. Yeah. Right? If I just .NET build, this works, right? Yeah. So it's the execution of these. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to go over to the migrations folder. I'm just going to migrations. This one. Let's just delete the. Do I delete them? I think we delete them. Savins. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for the follow. You are follower 6499. Much appreciate you joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the chat room. I'm gonna delete. Come on now, why are you dancing on me here? This. Delete. Yeah. Okay. And my this one. Delete that also. Okay. All right. Let's see how this works now. So that is, you are follower 6499. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's see if this works. Who's going to be follower 6500? There's 6499 right below me. Come on. Oh, that still doesn't work. Wow. You're using application DB context. I know. I'm trying to get it to build the user object. I'm just trying to get it to build anything at this point. It should connect to the database. It should interact with it, but it's not. Okay. Let's double check, make sure we have the latest version of this. NuGet NPG SQL. There we go. All right. 407 was just updated 10 days ago. Well, that feels good. Yay, Eldorian, good to see you. Welcome back. We are fighting. We are having a fantastic time with Postgres, .NET Core, and a Mac. All right, so here we go. This one looks like I need to be on 3.0.0 preview 5 because I have the wrong version number there. Look at that, it's 224. Let's do that. Save this, and we'll .NET restore, and hopefully we'll get everything updated. Savin says, first time here for about 15 minutes. This is the most relaxing, entertaining stream you've ever watched. And knowledge. Awesome. You know what? Thank you so much for that. I appreciate the very kind words. And appreciate you joining us, Savins. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I promise I won't overdo it with the acronyms, because when you start using too many acronyms here, folks, while some folks do understand it, you start to sound like this.
Seeing as how the VP is such a VIP, shouldn't we keep the PC on the QT? Because if it leaks to the VC, you can end up in MIA, and then we'd all be put on KP.
Did what? Something like that. All right.
Squirrel.
Yeah, distracted there for just a second. All right, moving back into here now. Let's see if we get the .NET EF database update. So these are tools that you can use with Entity Framework to interact with your database. Hopefully, apply your migrations, the scripts that'll update the database so it matches your C# files, your C# classes. Ah, the plot thickens. Now I've got what I want. So if I say context, and I want to say application DB context, right? That's the over here. Of course you're telling me that this is a problem. Go ahead, try and restore it again. Go ahead, prove it. It's a lower B in DB context. Okay. Over this one. Go. 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 When you use too many TLAs, people